Physics, Consciousness and Reality. This is a book by Dickie Dredd, me and Nigel Adams. And this is just a teaser, just to let you know that the book is coming. So it's a sort of abridged version of the preface that will come. And we're publishing this with the new mutual aid publishing company, Oakist Press. And hopefully it's just going through proofreading at the moment and having some artwork done, and then it should be done by, let's say, published in about 4 weeks or something like that. Here's just a little teaser for you. So, preface. This is a book about the biggest questions we can ask. What is reality? Why is there consciousness? And how do science, philosophy and lived experience fit together? This isn't a book of answers, it's a book about the edges, the places where equations, insight and experience all start to break down. The aim is simple: circle the mystery from different directions, maybe see it a little more clearly, even if it never fully comes into focus. The book comes from two very different journeys. Both of us have been thinking about these questions since we were teenagers, when existence first hits you with wonder, with urgency. Life didn't unfold neatly. There was trauma, there was addiction, there was a lot of wrestling with the difficult as well as the beautiful. One path led into physics, into equations, rigour and the structure of the universe. The other moved through art, social practice, Buddhism and lived experience, holding on to a punk DIY ethos, learning by whatever means were available. This book is where those two paths meet. Part A looks at science, physics, evolution, information, systems. It explores the extraordinary success of science, relativity, quantum mechanics, the Standard Model, but also where science struggles, especially here, consciousness. Why is there experience at all? Along the way we run into a strange territory, the hard problem of consciousness, illusions of perception, fine-tuning, even the possibility that reality itself might not be what it seems. Part B shifts the lens. Here we turn to Eastern traditions, Buddhism, Taoism, Vedanta, alongside Western questions about ethics, free will and society. These traditions don't treat consciousness as a byproduct. They often treat it as central. They ask, what is the self? What is illusion? What is experience? They don't just analyse those questions, they practice them. Together these two parts are a conversation, science and philosophy, East and West, reason and experience, not a single system, more like a festival of ideas, different stages, unexpected turns, moments of clarity, and yes, the occasional stumble. And here's the joke running through it all. If you came looking for a neat theory of everything, you might leave with something rarer. The suspicion that nobody really has one, including us. You don't need to be a physicist, philosopher, artist or mystic to read this. We're not going to bury you in equations. Where things get technical, we'll try our best to translate. But you do need a few things. Curiosity, patience with uncertainty, and openness without gullibility. Some of this will feel strange, some of it won't resolve cleanly, but that's the point. Because most people don't spend time on these questions. Life is busy, and our culture rewards speed, certainty, usefulness, not reflection. Philosophy and metaphysics don't give quick answers, and they can be uncomfortable, so they get pushed aside, but don't go away. They sit in the background, shaping how we see everything. And when people do engage with them, it can change things, not by giving answers, but by changing the frame. You start to see that perception shapes reality, that the self might not be what you thought it was, that even ordinary moments sit inside something much bigger. At the same time, this is not a license for nonsense. The world is already full of gurus, mystics and online experts selling certainty dressed up as insight. That's not what this is. This isn't gospel. It's definitely not a self-help manual. No steps, no hacks, no guarantees. If it helps at all, it is indirect, a side effect of thinking differently. So before we go further, leave a few things at the door. your politics, your ideology. You need to be right. Reality doesn't belong to any tribe. Physics isn't left or right. Consciousness doesn't carry a passport. These questions belong to everyone. And it's also worth being clear about what this book is not. It's not a policy. It's not about policy or politics. It's not about aliens or conspiracy theories. It's not about ghosts, the paranormal or supernatural claims. It's not trying to cover every mystery in science. We're focusing on something deeper. What is reality? How do we perceive it? And what is consciousness? Because consciousness is still one of the strangest things we know. It's the fact that there is something it is like to be, to see, to feel, to experience. We can describe the brain, we can model the mind. But why there is experience at all, that's still open. Part of the reason these questions get ignored is that they cross boundaries. Physics doesn't usually talk to philosophy, neuroscience doesn't usually talk to Buddhism, and philosophy rarely gets tested in their lab. They also unsettle things. They challenge the assumptions we rely on every day, so it's easier to leave them alone. But this book doesn't leave them alone. It brings them to the centre, not to solve them, but to take them seriously. You'll come across unfamiliar ideas. Some terms won't translate cleanly. Some ideas will repeat from different angles. That's not a mistake, that's how the traditions work. Depth comes from revisiting, not just defining. So the best way to approach this is simply to stay with it. Let things be unclear. Come back to them. Let the ideas breathe. Because this isn't a book you read once and finish. It's something you move through. And if you get lost, that's fine. We did too. Probably still do. At best, this book is a map. Not a complete one, but enough to help you wander. So, read with curiosity. Expect a few detours, and remember this. If you finish thinking everything is settled, you've probably missed the point. Because you're not just reading about the mystery. You are the mystery.